We are joined today by Ben Kanute, a fellow member of the class of 2011. Ben earned all-state honors in cross country and swimming during his time at Marmion. In 2015, Ben won the USA Triathlon Elite National Championships. In 2016, he was a member of the first place finishers for the ITU Triathlon Mixed Relay World Championships for the United States. Ben also qualified for the 2016 Olympics held in Rio and was the first Marmion alum to participate in the Olympics. He was recently honored as a member of Marmion's 2022 Hall of Fame inductees. Thank you, Ben, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Awesome. So first things first, kind of just going back, what made you choose Marmion?
So for me, it wasn't ever going to be a choice. I didn't had like not want to go necessarily, but I was a triple legacy. My grandpa went to Marmion, then my dad and uncle, and then it was me and basically all of my cousins essentially ended up going to Marmion. So my dad had a great experience there and wanted the same for me. And so I guess it also helped that I got into swimming. Marmion is one of the few swim programs. Like if I went to the public school where I was at, wouldn't have been able to have that opportunity either. So I kind of fully embraced it and kind of knew since grade school, middle school that, Marmion was the place that I was going to be.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's very interesting to see how many people are legacies and they might not have necessarily a say, but they haven't known anything else.
I know. And now as alumni director, you're gonna have to see who has the longest legacy, who's on like quadruple or quintuple legacy. Because I have a son now, so that was always like, oh, I mean, we're pretty happy with where we're living, but it's always like, ooh, do you go for the quadruple legacy at some point? Just slip that in there.
What are some of the fondest memories or maybe some of the best influences you had while you were here?
I think there's quite a few different ones. I mean, as far as I guess I'm always kind of big on sports. That's what I do for a living. That's what I've always loved to do. And Marmion has a great tradition of sports. And it really, I think I just got into with a good group of guys and a couple times where, between the cross country and the swim team, we both had some pretty competitive years. I think my senior year, we had built up to finishing third in state for the cross country team. So that was just an awesome memory to have. And same with the swim team. Like we never quite got there. I think we were fourth my sophomore year or something. But I just think in those areas too with sports, just we always talk about like the Marmion brotherhood and just doing the everyday Marmion things, just how close you can get. But that sports kind of added that extra level with some of those guys, just being able to go to the practices, travel to all the meets, that sort of thing. So, but I guess, I don't know, we could talk about the Marmion difference. I feel like that was a term that always floated around, but it was
Yep.
just a really unique experience, I think, going to, I guess, an all guys school, but also the fact that it was so small. You just got to know everybody really pretty well. You recognized every face in the hallways. And I think the teachers got to have really close relationships with the students too, and be able to kind of have like an impact on some of them. And guys like Father Mike, who still occasionally keep in touch with, 10 plus years later.
What was the actual going to Rio? What was that experience really like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a little bit of a blur. It's one of those like big moments where a lot of stuff happens and you start to pick out little moments. For me, I think like the biggest thing was qualifying. So the whole trip and being there, like just, I think when it comes to the Olympics, sometimes I think, especially in the US, we have this level of excellence where if there's not a medal, it's like a medal or nothing. And obviously, anywhere there's a lot of good places. But for me, I knew my chances at a medal, it had to be a lot of luck and a lot of things to fall in. So I just really tried to embrace that whole journey through it, whether it was picking up the gear and going through like they took us to Houston and you just went through this massive area, warehouse area, hotel conference room to like pick out all the gear and get kitted up for it. And then we actually didn't stay that much in the village because it was
Oh,
kind of removed from where the race was, but just kind of soaking up like the atmosphere. I mean, there's different countries' houses. The Team USA house is just super cool because everybody just uses it as a gathering spot, whether, spectators kind of pay to get in, or as an athlete, you get just a lot more access around the games. So, yeah, it's just super cool to be able to compete on the biggest stage, achieve a dream, and just really be able to try and take it. It was one of the hardest races I've ever done. Like I swear, like the first coming out of the water to like the top, the course was super hilly. There was a hill every lap, and I swear I was like cross-eyed by the top of that first lap, thinking like, how am I going to get through the rest of this race? And yeah, it was just really, I guess, a unique situation too. Like the crowds were big. Everybody gets behind every sport there. Like it really doesn't matter
mhm.
what it is. And I think that is just the coolest part because it just is really why I got into sport. It's just the competition and just that freedom that sport gives you. So I felt like that was kind of celebrated throughout the entire games, and just being able to connect with different athletes, different sports, they kind of like intermix you with everybody too. And yeah, you just got to meet a lot of cool people, and yeah, just it was a cool experience.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a just a fan, you kind of hear all these stories about the village and how well everyone kind of just assimilates because they're all doing the same thing and they're all on the highest level of their sport, you know? So it's kind of cool to hear that. What basically does life look like today? What are you up to? How's things going? Give us a little update on just personal
hmm
life.
Yeah, I like to say I'm still avoiding real life by pursuing a career by racing professionally as a triathlete. So I consider myself pretty lucky. The sport that I do like allows me to live an awesome life like that, where I get to go out and swim, bike, and run pretty much every day. I have a wife and two kids, and we live in Colorado, up north, like kind of Loveland area. It's just
Mhm.
south of Fort Collins. And yeah, for me, it's, I guess, to be maybe a little bit less jokey about it, it's kind of like being an entrepreneur. Like you work for yourself. You have to create your own business deals and kind of manage the whole business side of it. So day to day is pretty much training. There's family time. There's admin time, kind of stuff like that. And I travel quite a bit to the different races. Like I'll be last year was a lot more international, everywhere from like Singapore to Europe to I've been to South Africa before for a race, so you can get triathlon is pretty international, so the travel miles can rack up. But this year I've kind of focused a lot too on just kind of trying to stay in North America for the most part, as that kind of fits better with family schedule. But yeah, I mean, there's kind of a lot to it, but the basics of it are, train, eat, sleep, repeat, with a lot of other stuff shoved in between kids schooling and
Mhm.
just different admin stuff.
No, I gotcha. You do a great job on your Instagram and stuff like that. I don't know if that's all you
Thanks.
or if you have some help or anything, but it's impressive seeing that.
Thanks. Yeah,
Um,
I do a lot of it on my own. I got some nice and some cool videographers and stuff who are local, and different people I've worked with to help create it, capture some of the content and stuff like that. But yeah, try and let people know where I'm at, what I'm doing, as much as possible.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a nice way to keep up, especially people that are fans of you and things like that. So,
All
last
right.
one, what advice would you give students at Marmion today?
I would say embrace the journey, and I think this kind of goes. It's not just for Marmion, but you're at a really awesome time in your life where you have almost endless opportunities if you take advantage. And when I was at Marmion, like I'm competitive. I viewed everything as a competition, whether that was with grades, sports, whatever. And at least in like performing academic wise, I felt like I had this in the back of my mind where if I can just do really well here in at Marmion, get good grades, do well on the standardized testing, that sort of thing, I could have a choice to go kind of where it would open up more opportunities for which college or which career I wanted. And I also had, I wanted to balance trying to be a professional triathlete. So being able to choose to go to the University of Arizona and, get a partial scholarship academically or something like that made it a lot easier of a choice than, if I didn't kind of stay focused. So that's not to say don't have fun. You got to have fun. It's a lot of fun to go through high school and do all the activities and have all of that. So definitely enjoy yourself, but there's a time to be serious and take some things serious too, and that'll open up even more fun opportunities for you in the future if you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the viewers, Ben and I were very close in high school and hung around in the same friend group and went to a lot of dances and same groups. So I can vouch that he does have a good time and he's a lot of fun to hang around. But thanks again, Ben. This was awesome. I'm glad you took the time to do this with us, and obviously we'll be in touch. And again, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.